Doopity doop blah. It is me. I'm here.
Are we recording?
Why do you ask me every single time after you watch me roll over there, press all the recording buttons, it makes a little beepy noise, and then I slide all the way back over here, and you go, are you recording? Eat a fucking grape.
I didn't want to be caught on camera eating McDonald's.
This is like the 9th time you've been caught on camera eating McDonald's.
Not only did I get McDonald's, I went into Walmart today where they had a McDonald's in Walmart. Yep. That's like a new low.
That's where you're drawing the line?
Now, if they had...
Now I'm disgusted.
Now, if they had put a McDonald's in a CVS, no way.
And you mean...
A Walmart I can tolerate.
No, Dollar Tree. Welcome to the McDonald's. Welcome to the Dollar Tree McDonald's. Can I take your order?
Oh, yeah, something weird happened to me today. They moved my truck in the warehouse all the way to the front of, like, the loading belt. And that's right where the manager is. Yeah. And, he's like this older black guy. And he goes, "Hello, young man. Are you new here?" I'm like, "No, I've been working here for like a year." He goes, "Oh." He goes, "Okay, well, you're right next to me now." Yeah. All right. He goes, "The good thing about that is I know when you guys are going to be sent out. You know, a lot of the times all the drivers are like, when do we leave? When do we leave? But now that you're right by me,
this man has the strangest accent
he goes,
you've ever put on.
He goes, "I'll let you know when you leave." I was like,
he sounds...
I was like, okay.
He sounds like Donald Glover, but like raspier. You're like, "Hey, man,
so he goes,
I'm getting too old for this shit."
So he goes, "We're going to be done loading the trucks in about 15 minutes. I'm like, "Oh, that's great. It's only like 7:30 in the morning. Like, I'm going to get out so early now." I said, "I just hope it stops raining." He goes, "Raining?" He goes, "Man, it's going to stop raining by 8 o'clock. He goes, "I'm going to go barbecue." I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I guess it's going to be a good day." I leave the
Is this guy like Morgan Freeman from Bruce Almighty? He's actually God.
Wait,
He's like, how does he know when it's going to stop raining?
I leave the warehouse at like 7:45, and I pull out of the gate, and I'm going down the parking lot. He's on the property with a charcoal grill, cooking a burger. I was like, "Oh shit, he meant now." Just, why doesn't he go home? He's been working the midnight to 8 a.m. shift.
I told you it's gonna stop raining at 8, and then I'm gonna make a burger.
I just thought
I'm getting too old for this shit.
I just thought he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna stop raining by 8 a.m. It's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna barbecue later." I just had no idea he meant right fucking now. Like, where do you get the meat from? Where do you get any of it?
Oh, well, my coworker Chris the other day, 2 days ago, we pulled back into the yard to do something, and he's like, "Yo, man, pull over by my he goes, "Pull over by my car." I'm like, "All right." He runs over, pops his trunk open. He's got like the biggest igloo cooler I've ever seen in my life. It looked like luggage that would go under the plane. It was huge, and he just points at it. He's like, right? I go, "All right." And then he pulls out a single Modelo, and he's like, right. All day he was talking about these Modelos. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to have a couple cold ones after work, this and that." Dude, I'm sitting in my car about to leave. Everybody is gone. I'm like looking through my phone to play a song on the ride home. I look up, I turn, I just see him. He's staring directly at me, crushing the Modelo, just chugging the whole thing. And he looks at me, and with it still kicked back, he just like hits me with a double eyebrow raise. He's like, I lost my shit. He puts it down and goes, "Ha ha!" Puts it in his cup holder and takes off. I was like, "That's the funniest thing I've ever seen."
See, that's what's funny is you have like weird coworkers. I just run into weird people. Like I delivered a package to a marijuana dispensary.
Why'd you say it like a cop? So I was
What
deep
do-
in this marijuana dispensary.
What do you call it? A weed store?
No, it's a dispensary. You know.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. I don't smoke weed either. I wouldn't know what to call
Yeah.
it. Smoke shop.
But I delivered
Dispensary?
the box was 85 pounds. And
That's a lot of hash.
yeah, well, I'm like lugging it in. I'm like, hey man, where do I put this? He's like, hey man, just drop it down wherever. I'm like, okay. And I just dropped it and it like smacked on the ground. And like
I didn't mean literally, man.
and then everyone like turned and looked at me. And the guy just goes, hey guys, our weed's here. And everyone was just like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, I don't think that there's weed in there. He was like, well, it comes in like containers. I'm like, you think those containers are 85 pounds? And I was like, are you high right now? He was, yeah, but I can get high on my job because, people can see me and then they know that like we have good product here. I went, that's not how that works.
That's
like,
exactly how it works.
I used to be a bartender.
No.
I wouldn't down a bottle of Kettle. This shit's fucking good, man. This is fucking good. You should get this.
Bartending's a little more involved than bud tending because you just fucking, what do you want? Hanky panky purple? Here you go, dude. If I walked into a weed shop and some guy was like, fuck, I'd be like, what are you on? I want that.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what's funny? Really quick, before we start the show, I totally forgot to tell you that Riley commented the other day asking, let me get the comment.
I love how it seems like you're scrolling through like hundreds of comments, yet we probably
I'm
only have, like,
scrolling through more videos than I am comments. I didn't even see this comment. He goes, fucking McDonald's, no Wendy's. As a redhead, fuck you, Charlie.
As a redhead?
That's what he said.
Does he have red hair?
I guess. How should I know?
But Ronald McDonald has red hair.
I've never seen him before. His profile picture's Toby Maguire.
My stomach hurts.
It should. Oh, here it is. It was in a reply. That's why.
Oh.
God damn it, Riley. He goes, have you guys had any other bad theater experiences? He says, I was going to use letting a mother letting her kids walk on the seats after the new Transformers as my example. Yesterday during the blackening, there were two different people talking on the phone at the same time. But, it's hilarious that we both launched into weird coworker stories without remembering that Riley asked us directly to talk about weird people.
Yeah.
I was going to say, oh, that could be a good intro. And then we accidentally did it. So you're welcome, Riley.
That's how we do, baby. That's how we do.
Yeah, we're stick around to the end of the show. We got, you want to tell them about, you want to tell them about the Tex-Mex guy later?
The Tex-Mex guy?
Yeah, remember? I'm out of here like Vladimir.
Oh, that guy? That guy. You want me to do it now?
No, this intro's going on long enough.
Oh, well, we'll workshop it in later.
Yeah.
Oh, that
stick
guy?
Stick around to the end to hear about Vladimir Putin at a burrito place.
That guy sucked.
That guy was awesome.
I still have a picture of him.
You know what that guy probably wanted?
Tex-Mex.
Probably wanted us to do a podcast.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you felt uncomfortable being on the receiving end of that, huh? It's
Yeah.
always you asking, huh?
Yeah, it's always me.
Yeah, get fucked.
Maybe I'll do the plot summary.
Get switched on. You want to do the plot summary for Transformers?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going back.
Hurry up!
We're going back to
Too slow!
We're going back to 4th grade here. We're doing a little compare and contrast.
Fourth grade? Was it 4th grade?
No, I'm saying like in like grade school when you do like compare and contrasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of that. So last week we watched the new Transformers movie, which was like, that movie was kind of like when you're wiping and like your finger breaks through the
I don't
paper.
like where this is going.
And your finger breaks through the paper and like you're not really mad, you're not sad, but you're just like, ah.
I want you to know that has never happened to me once in my entire life. That was the least relatable thing you could have ever compared it to.
So what we did, so
in last week's episode, I said I wanted to go back and watch the other Transformers.
Yeah.
So we did.
And
then we said, well, we have a movie podcast. We could talk about it.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting thing to talk about. And so now here we are.
Yeah. So we watched the Michael Bay 2007.
Welcome to the Degenerate Movie Reviews review of Transformers 2007.
Yeah, we're a little late. We didn't have a podcast then. That's crazy. I didn't even know who you were.
What?
Well,
I was 10 in 2007.
Yeah. I was 9.
That's crazy. You're younger than me.
Yeah. I just want to say real quick before I do this plot summary, I feel the pressure now.
Why?
Because you always do the plot summaries, and I'm always come on.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm going to do exactly what you do, because you think I can't see you, and then you forget that I edit these things.
Oh, yeah. Every time you do a plot summary, I'm like...
Dude, the faces he makes make me so angry when I'm editing. I'm like, you fucking dick! All right, ready for this week's 2007 Transformers review with Charlie. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, shut up. Just shut up. So we we open up with narration. So we open. So we open up with narration.
I spilled my fucking tea.
I'm Keegan and I hate narration. So, yeah, we open up with a quick narration, a little exposition of Optimus Prime. And then he's like, yeah, we need this cube, kind of like the one we just saw in theaters. But instead, we open up on a military base. And then, this like army helicopter like rushes towards this base, turns into a fucking Decepticon, and fucking lights up the entire army base, and only like Josh Duhamel and the guy from Fast and Furious make it out.
What a tragedy.
Yeah. So like then they're like, oh fuck, and it was like pretty fucking crazy though. We'll get into the details later. So that happens, and then we cut to Shia LaBeouf, who is like, I really need a fucking car. And he was trying to sell his grandfather's glasses on eBay to get a car. We'll dive into that too a little bit. And then he gets this, he gets Bumblebee, but he just thinks it's a rusted Camaro, and then he picks up Megan Fox. And then, Prime calls the Autobots, or Bumblebee does, and then they all show up, and they're like, hey, we need this thing. It all connects to your grandfather and his glasses, so you need to take us to get your glasses. So Shia LaBeouf takes like 7 Transformers to his house to get his grandfather's glasses. And then they I think the one of the bad Transformers like snuck into his room, that little guy, and like stole his glasses. So then what happened after that?
I don't know what did happen. Tag me in whenever you want.
Yeah, well, remember they were all in his backyard?
Yeah.
And what happened after that? They went to get it.
What's his name?
Oh, John Turturro showed up.
Jesus from Big Lebowski.
Yeah, John Turturro shows up. Yeah, and he's from like Sector 7, and he's like, you've had direct contact with the Transformers. So he's like, we gotta get you out of here. So they like take them, and like they're driving away with them, and then like the Autobots come out of nowhere and just like destroy their FBI cars and shit. And then they wind up at the Hoover Dam, where Megatron is frozen.
Yeah, Sector 7 has Megatron on ice.
Yeah, they got him
They're like,
on
oh,
ice.
by the way, we got this big fucking robot that we found in the ice.
Yeah, and John Voight's the senator, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" and then Megatron, bursts out and like escapes, and they're like, "Hey," he's like, well, "I want the cube too," and then a whole big crazy fucking fight happens, and then the good guys win, and Shia LaBeouf is dating Megan Fox, and then it ends.
Yay! That was
this
Charlie's
plot
summary of the week. Much worse than mine.
I don't think I'm gonna do that.
And that's so fucking easy now, is it?
Yeah, no.
All right. Should we mention that I totally forgot this last week, but my unicorn is named Megatron.
Oh yeah.
I totally forgot that's the I have a stuffed unicorn on my wall.
I got a better angle if you want me to.
Whatever, man. Yeah, sure. Who I named the Megatron.
Yep.
Without even liking Transformers. It's just what was in my heart.
It's like that song by Nicki Minaj.
What?
She's like, my name is Megatron.
She's like, I'm a bitch.
Oh no.
I fucked up my
camera. So
I really fucked up my lighting.
I really fucked it all up.
Hold on. Cue that technical difficulty screen.
How do you want to how do we want to start this?
By getting my fucking lighting right. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, open with narration.
All right, yeah. So
we don't need to
I feel
go
like,
into that
dude, I
anymore.
feel like every single movie we've seen in like the past several weeks has opened with narration.
Even the good ones, like The Big Lebowski, opened with narration. Like, but I mean, you know what it is? It's that in this, I guess, generation, all the movies that are coming out are so lazy that they just do this whole vomit of exposition on you, and they're like, "Bah, okay, action."
You know what the problem is too? I think people like movie makers nowadays are like trying to make movies. So like in there, instead of like it being in their head picturing something happening, they're in their head like picturing a movie. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, it opens with narration because movies open with narration.
Yeah, they're going by like this generic formula of like movie.
What did I do? It's so dark. Is it my eyes? Am I dying? Well, that was the opposite of what I wanted. I'm thoroughly confused as to what I did to myself. All right, I completely changed my camera angle to satiate the problem. Now it's too bright. Hold on. There we go. Hey, I did it.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
everybody.
so we open with narration.
I will say, I feel all right. So most of this review is going to be comparing it to the newer one, because that's what I was doing while I was watching it. At least this narration was like telling us important shit. It shouldn't come up. It was telling us like important shit that I didn't know. He's like, we got the Allspark. It's a cube. We want to find that shit. All right, good to go. Of narration, it was at least doing its job.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what bothered me though is like he wound up just saying that later to Shia LaBeouf.
Oh my god, dude! I put that in my notes.
So it's just kind of like, why tell us if you're just gonna tell him later? It sounds like we already know that. Like it just doesn't.
And then
It's unnecessary.
Well, yeah, always. Well, it's because in my head.
Because they were like floating through space. It was like the camera's like in space, and it's like Prime narrating, and then we fade out, and then we open up in the army base. I think it would have been dope to just open up in the army base.
Yeah.
Start it up, Michael.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's 99% of the time you're better off just starting wherever you are when you're done with the narration.
Yeah.
I like every single time I watch a movie, I'm like, I wish we would have just started here.
Yeah.
Instead of wasting 5 of my minutes going, so I was born in a small town in Spain, but I'm not Spanish. I'm actually Peruvian. Like, okay. There's no way you could have communicated that to me differently.
You don't sound Peruvian. You're like, you sound like an old Jew. You're like, I was born in Spain, but I'm Peruvian. You don't sound either.
I had a matzo ball shop there.
We closed down after a week for lack of business.
We closed down due to COVID-19. Oh, that's a little better.
Well, that's anyway, yeah, I agree with that. And then, the army base gets like, one of the Decepticons comes in.
Yeah,
that whole action scene was fucking. That was
fucking. It was A, it was fucking awesome, and B, it was so much cooler than the other one.
Yeah, dude. Like,
it was like
I watched it on like a big fucking I watched it on TV at like 9:30, 10 p.m. All the lights were out, and I was like right in front of the TV. The shit like blew my fucking mind. And mind you, the effects held up.
Well, yeah,
I mean, we'll dive into that later, but I'm just saying, it's fucking like, dude, it's still pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that opening scene was awesome. It was like
very cool.
And it established right away that the Decepticons are not to be fucked with. I mean, he just this giant robot just waltzes into a military base.
I also like how it has a fake person in it.
Yeah, and better than the other chick's fake person who it is never fucking brought up. This one is like glitchy and holography.
Yeah. They're
like, well, if we have to put a fake guy in there. And it's always the same fake guy. I thought that was
funny. Looks like fucking T-1000.
Yeah. It's just... Imagine being that actor. Like, can you pretend to be the hologram that sits inside the Transformers? Don't say anything. Just stare straight forward.
But what are my lines?
You don't have any lines. No, you're not understanding me. You're the fake driver for a giant space robot, all right? Quit asking questions. I thought the soldier scenes were kind of cheesy, but like in a cheesy, like in what you expect. Like cheesy like you would... I see you.
Yeah.
Cheesy in a way that like it kind of reminded me of like the scene in Predator, like when they're in the helicopter beforehand and they're like, we're soldiers, we're big bodybuilders, Arnold Schwarzenegger's, I'm Native American, but it was like less extreme, and it was just like, I have a goat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Oh, and you know what I also liked about the way this movie intros, after we've gotten past the narration, is I like how there's like this like element of mystery. It's like this helicopter rocks up, and they're like, who is that helicopter?
Yeah, they're all like kind of bugging out.
Like, who the fuck is that? And then it slowly unravels. They're like, that's one of our helicopters. But the helicopter got shot down last week. And who's in the helicopter? And then it lands. Then it turns into a robot and just starts fucking murdering people.
Killing everyone.
Just blowing shit up.
Yeah.
A scorpion jumps off of its back.
That was awesome.
I liked how the military weren't just like...
hanging around.
No, I like how they weren't just like cannon fodder. Like sometimes like there exists military in movies and their sole purpose is to get murdered. The military in this kind of felt more like competent. Like it felt very like...
And I found myself rooting for them a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of felt like
which you should do, but it just seems like I know what you mean. Like a lot of the times it's all like, it's kind of like, how like in John Wick, how he just kills so many fucking people.
Yeah, and they're completely...
it kind of just like loses its effect.
They're completely nameless. And there's no...
Yeah, nameless. Like that's what it is. Like how the military...
They don't act like people. They just look like stuntmen getting killed.
Yeah.
Like this, it felt like they're running around. They're screaming. Some of them are giving out orders. They're doing things.
Like Josh Duhamel is like, put me through to someone. They're like, do you have a credit card number? He's like, fuck.
Well, I'm not even talking about the main character guys. I mean even like the background soldiers, they feel like real.
Yeah.
Like one of them is completely nameless. He gets like blown up, and then like Josh Duhamel is like, we need a medic. You know, he's like, oh, we got to save this guy. And like, other than the guy in the glasses, he got fucking destroyed and nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it's the first time I've seen a movie think their character is as annoying as I do.
There's a quick shot of that scorpion transformer, and it's like tail just quickly like punctures a guy and just sucks him underground.
And he was like, and he was like the annoying like Poindexter Marine character archetype, and I was like, and nobody gave a fuck that he died. I was like, for once, nobody gives a fuck about that stupid ass character.
Yeah. I got my notes right here.
Thank God.
So let's talk Shia LaBeouf. I saw a lot of parallels with Holes in this movie.
Just because it's Shia LaBeouf?
No, but it's like, yeah, it's Shia LaBeouf, but he's always like, oh, my great grandfather or whatever was a discoverer, and then in the other one he's like, oh, my no good, dirty, rotten great grandfather, and then John Voight plays the senator in this movie, and then he played Mr. Sir in Holes. And I'm just like, man, what's going on with Holes right now? And
they just remake Holes
and
with
then,
robots.
And then after Transformers, I watched Holes.
Jesus,
it like put it into my subconscious. I was waiting for one of the Transformers to be like, you really want to watch Holes right now? It's like, fuck yeah, because Holes is also a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I like Holes. I wouldn't go
D-I-G, what does that spell?
I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but if it's on already, I won't be mad.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad.
That's too damn bad. I do say that fairly often.
Yeah.
That's too damn bad. The hell you say?
Hell you say, boy. No, but Shia LaBeouf did a great fucking job in this.
I think Shia LaBeouf is a good actor. He's just kind of weird.
Yeah. But you know what I love about his character in this? They didn't make him like that really nerdy fucking, like he had some edge to him and he was funny. Like when he gets up to do his presentation, everyone kind of like, someone flicks like a rubber band at him and they start kind of like laugh at him and you're like, oh, he's the loser. But then he's just like, I got my grandfather's glasses here, trying to buy a car, and he wants to buy him for like $50. I got some of his other stuff here. He was a discoverer, pretty famous. If anyone wants to buy this shit, let me know.
I like when he rocks up to the park with his dumbass friend, and he's like, dude, are we even invited to this party? He's like, what do you mean? It's a public park.
Yeah. And then and the bully kind of starts like making fun of Shia LaBeouf.
I love the line where his weird friend character just leaps into a tree and they're like, what are you doing here? And he goes, we came here to climb that tree.
Yeah.
So stupid.
But then the bully's like making fun of him about like his report or something. And he was like, yeah, next time I'll write a whole book and I'll put nice little pictures in it for you, a little coloring section. Like he had some edge to him. Like he gets bullied, but he's like, fuck you, I don't care. Like I liked that.
Yeah, he's just kind of like a weird, horny teenager character.
Yeah, he's so horny. Oh, dude.
Oh, dude, I thought the shot with Megan Fox sitting amongst all those children was hilarious. They're like, this is Megan Fox. She's a teenager, and these are all children. Like, the rest of her class looked like 13.
Yeah. And she's just... And it's weird now,
25.
Because it's like, that's just Megan Fox.
Yeah, and her boyfriend is sitting right next to her. They're both full-grown adults.
Yeah, he's like fucking 40.
Even Shia LaBeouf looks like a little teenage kid, but the rest of them, I swear to God, look like they just got out of fucking daycare.
Yeah, dude, I really thought Shia LaBeouf was fucking hilarious this whole movie. He was cracking me up. Dude, the scene where like that little Transformer's like attacking him and he like rips its head off. He's like, you're not so tough without a head now, huh? And he like punts its head like 60 yards. He was like on crack this whole movie. He's like, I need to buy a car.
I love when the fucking cop Decepticon is chasing him and Megan Fox turns the corner. He's like, go. He's like, run. Get the car. Get the car.
He clotheslines her off her bike. She's like, what the hell? And he like doesn't have any pants on.
The car is trying to attack me.
Yeah, he doesn't have like any pants on. It's like, just go. This whole thing's fucked up. Like the whole time he's just losing his shit.
Or when he thinks someone's stealing his car, so he jumps on his sister's bicycle.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, on the sidewalk. He's like, hey,
yeah, and he like bangs on the side of his house, like, Dad, call the cops!
Dad, call the fucking
and he's like,
cops!
he just fucking like runs out, and he's like, oh, come on, dude, fucking funny, dude. Also, are we just gonna gloss over Bernie Mac?
Of course not. I have it here in my notes.
Hey, mammy!
Hey, mammy! I miss Bernie Mac.
Me too, so much.
He's so funny.
He was so funny in Bad Santa.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. Dude, his first scene, it just shows him lighting a cigarette and he just goes, and the whole cigarette just fucking, he's like, just sucks in the whole cigarette in one puff and goes, was our mall Santa fucking fat bitches in the women's big and tall section? Oh, I love Bernie Mac.
He was hilarious in this. He's like trying to sell Shia LaBeouf a car, and he's like, how much do you want for it? He goes, I don't know, $5,000. He goes, I'm not going over. He says,
he wanted like 6, and Shia LaBeouf was
no,
like,
I'm not going over 5. His dad was like, I'm not going over 5. He goes, well, I got 5 for you right here, and he points at like a little tiny like Volkswagen Beetle. Like, now this is a $5,000 car. What did he say to the? He was like, that's Mammy back there.
Oh, he's like, that's my mammy over there. Hey, mammy! And she like flips him off. He goes, oh, bust a rock over her head, you bitch. She a bit deaf.
He's like, you deaf anyway. Fuck her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of, and he's in it for like 5 seconds.
That was his only scene.
And then Bumblebee like EMPs him really quick, and then he's like, take the car. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I love that Bumblebee just shows up and he doesn't question it. He just tries to sell Shia LaBeouf a car he doesn't actually own. He's like, yeah, fuck it, you can have the car. I don't know who fucking owns it, but
yeah,
because
like,
what if that was somebody's car?
Yeah, because didn't Bumblebee just roll into the lot?
Yeah. Yeah. Which, by the way, comparing it to the other Transformers, I love how they did that with the Transformers in this.
Yeah.
Like the Transformers are like sneaky in this. They're like they're hiding in plain sight because they're cars.
Yeah.
And so there's so many scenes like in the first couple minutes of this movie where you can see the Transformers driving around.
Yeah.
And the movie doesn't like acknowledge them. They're just
At
like
all.
sneakily in the background. Like,
yeah, like that's how it was for a lot of this movie. And then all of a sudden, like they would just bust out into their fucking robot form.
Yeah,
which is
what the
fuck?
Which is a fantastic way to utilize.
You ever hear the catchphrase "robots in disguise"?
Yeah, it's like it was so nice to see that them, like, especially after last week, them utilize the powers of the robots. Like they can turn into cars.
Yeah.
And drive around without being noticed. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna turn into cars and hide in Peru. It was like, oh, they drive around. One of them takes the form of a cop car. There's a scene later on where Starscream, who can turn into a jet, sneaks into formation with all the other jets and just starts shooting them down from behind because they think it's one of them.
Yeah,
it's like that.
That's fucking cool.
There it is. That's it. That's how you write a Transformer.
Yeah, like I'm not like obsessed with Michael Bay, but I will say, like, when he does something, he does go all out.
I definitely, did not give him enough credit. He can make an action movie. Yeah. I think it's just because I don't like action movies, but he can write a fucking action movie.
Yeah, big time.
And you know what too? I noticed now that I'm not 10 watching a Michael Bay movie. I noticed he has a really good sense of like visual jokes. Like he has a good sense. In the scene with Bernie Mac's car dealership, there's just an ostrich standing there for no reason. Yeah. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. And nobody acknowledges it. There's just an ostrich sitting in a car, just like,
yeah.
And I'm like, that's hilarious. What do you mean? That's
because right then and there, that's the joke. You don't have to explain the joke like, oh, that's my pet ostrich.
Shia LaBeouf doesn't have to go, why is there an ostrich in that car? And it's like, no, it's the visual of an ostrich hanging out at a used car dealership is hilarious all by itself.
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck is there an ostrich? And the less I know about that ostrich, the funnier it is. It makes me go, why the fuck is there an ostrich at a car dealership?
But because we were talking about how a lot of filmmakers now, they kind of don't know how to kind of roll the humor into the action.
Yeah.
There's like action here, joke here, action here. But again, like Shia LaBeouf is getting attacked by this, like, it was like a boombox. So it was like
even
this
better.
big.
It was a JVC radio.
Yeah. And then it would always like mumble shit. It was like the angriest transformer ever. It was just
Hacking into computers.
Yeah, it was like
hacking into the government. It's like
yeah. It was so horny. So it starts attacking Shia LaBeouf, and it's got like fucking razor blades and like spinning grinders. It's like gonna like cut him the fuck up. And then yeah, Shia LaBeouf like rips its head off. He's like, oh god. And he's like, not so tough now, and just punts his fucking head. And you know, during the fight scene with him and that transformer, I was like, oh fuck. And then he does that shit, and I'm like laughing. I rewound that like 3 times. Like, he did a great job, you know, weaving the fucking jokes in with the action. And that's, again, where, you know, Michael Bay fucking 10 out of 10 with that. You know, I was, like, even when they were like, you know, even he'll do things that are funny that further the plot. Like, when they're like, we really need this cube. And then, like, Sector 7 was like, let me show you something. They go into the other room, and the cube is just in the room, and it's fucking ginormous. And it's also on ice, I think. But they made it seem like we really need this cube, and we don't know where it is. They're like, let me show you something. You don't actually think they're going to just have it. Yeah, we got just the thing. Like, it's fucking funny.
I love did you notice the really subtle George Bush character?
Yeah, hey, go get me some ding dongs.
Yeah, go fetch me some ding dongs, honey.
Yeah.
When she's in the basement, she's like sniffing the ding dong. She's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, she ate it off the airport floor, the plane floor. Ugh.
It was, yeah, you know, and it.
Go get me some of those ding dongs.
I have it written down verbatim. He says, "Go fetch me some ding dongs," which is an even funnier way of saying that. White ding dong. Oh no, he says, "Wrangle me up some ding dongs, darling."
Yeah, wrangle me up.
Wrangle up me some ding dongs, darling. And he's got the pink socks on, and he's just like playing footsies with himself.
Yeah,
Air Force One bed.
Wrangle me up some
Wrangle me up some ding dongs, darling.
But yeah, I do think like every performance in this was pretty fucking awesome. Everyone, like Michael Bay, really did make like 90% of the characters like fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like down to like, you know, Bernie Mac, who's in it for like a minute. But I mean, he's also a comedian. But I thought that Shia LaBeouf's parents, I thought they crushed it as like those overbearing parents. Like when Shia LaBeouf gets the money to get a car, his dad goes, I was gonna surprise you with this. And he pulls into a Porsche dealership. He's like, no way, I'm getting a Porsche. He's like, fuck no. He's like, I just wanted to mess with you. And then
you're right, you're not getting a Porsche.
Yeah, and then he just pulls out of the Porsche dealership.
And he's driving like a really nice car too, so they could probably afford a Porsche.
Yeah.
He's driving like a classic like Monte Carlo. And he's like, fuck no, I'm not getting you a fucking Porsche.
But he did such a good job as like that dad. Like Shia LaBeouf like runs into the yard. He's like, whoa, 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 footsteps on the grass. That's why I built the path. And like the mom was so overbearing. She's like, were you masturbating in here? And then even the dad is like, what are you doing? Don't say that. She's like, we could call it like, you know, Sam's fun time. And they're just like, oh god.
Megan Fox walks out of his bathroom and she's like, what? Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
good
she's like, hi. Oh my god. Did you notice when the Decepticons come down in a meteor form? Everyone starts rushing over to them with their phones, and one guy just goes, this is better than Armageddon.
Yeah.
Which I mean, of course Michael Bay did Armageddon, but it's like that line just seemed so forced. He might as well have said, this is better than Bad Boys. Because it just, I don't know.
This is better than anything that hack fuck Michael Bay could do.
Yeah.
You piece of shit asshole.
Looks
Michael
right
Bay's,
into the lens.
Michael Bay's like sitting in his director chair like,
it's good. Be a little more angry.
could you make fun of the size of my penis?
Yeah. That small fucking, that freckle cock Michael Bay fucking directing that fucking movie.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, this movie wasn't perfect,
No.
but it was.
For what it was, I think it was fantastic.
I think it's what it's the what I didn't realize was it's like the exact movie we're always like yearning for whenever we watch a stupid movie. It's very self-aware and it's very good at being what it is.
That's the biggest thing with movies. Like, no matter what movie you're going to do, know what you are. Like, you have to know what you are. I think that is, like, probably the top 3 biggest things with a movie.
Yeah, like, this movie, it never, like, oversteps into, like, different territory. It's never too dramatic. Or it's like never sad. It never tries to like.
Yeah, and again, because it knows, and he's also an experienced enough director to like, make certain decisions and know what it is. Because when you have Michael Bay, like studios also trust him. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, his movies are expensive as fuck, but they know that there's going to be a big return, especially when you have like, Transformers.
Yep.
That merchandising alone would, fucking save you. But again, he's good enough to know what he's doing. And it's not like how we always say, oh, some guy will direct some indie flick and then get a Marvel deal.
Yeah, this is Michael Bay. He's known for making these big, bombastic movies.
And again, like knowing what it is such a big deal because we've reviewed movies where they have this potential, but because they don't quite know what type of movie they're going for, I hate to keep bringing it up, but like Cocaine Bear, that had such potential of being like the dumbest, most outlandish, funny fucking movie, but they didn't know what it was. They were trying to be serious. They were trying to interweave all these plots of the missing kid and the bear, and then you get the deputy involved, and there's the park ranger and the whatever, there, and the drug kingpins, and it's just like, take a fucking breather.
You have your hands in too many baskets at that point.
Yeah,
it's like you only have 2 hands. All right, like don't get me wrong, I love a good, I love a good story that can do 2 things at once.
Oh yeah.
Some of my favorite TV shows are back in the day, Scrubs. Scrubs was the king of this, when it's in its heyday, where Scrubs will have you laughing for like an hour, and then fucking the last 5 minutes of the episode, it's like, yep, everyone that was making you laugh is now dead. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
but that's 2 baskets. I think you can handle up to 2 baskets. I don't mind when like a comedy randomly gets all dramatic, or if a drama is like randomly funny sometimes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cocaine's Bear problem was it was trying to be 8 different genres at once.
Yeah, they wanted this really gory slasher type blood splattered.
They wanted you to laugh at the Cookie Bear doing cocaine.
Gory, and then they wanted to make you laugh with how weird the bear was being, and then they wanted to put the
Margot
action
Martindale.
in with their fucking all the guns and the shooting, and it lost. They
wanted you to be horny as fuck for Margot Martindale.
Oh God. Oh, fuck.
Margot Martindale, sweet nookie. God, wakes me up in the middle of the night sometimes.
Dude, my erection just tore a hole in my pants.
I'm sitting in a puddle of my own pussy juice now.
Dude, actually, it just ripped my fucking pants.
No, it didn't.
No, that was like...
Why you walking around with a hole in your pants?
They're my work pants.
So? Fuck is that?
What?
I don't recognize that voice.
Yeah.
Someone's telling Mouse to come, and I don't know who it is.
Hey, Mouse, shut up. That ain't Rob. Yeah, so again, self-awareness is very important. Like, I'm working on this script about this fucking guy who gets, like, abducted by aliens. But it's, like, it's kind of intense, but, like, it's like, dumb funny. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm aware of what I'm doing. So it's just, I feel like...
Or at least trying to be.
Yeah.
I feel like most of these movies suck because, like, the writers or directors aren't keeping that in mind and trying to do it.
Yeah.
You can't do anything in a movie without putting effort into it. Like, I think sometimes people fail to realize that when it comes to, like, writing and making movies, nothing is an accident. Like, everything, you need to think of things that happen. not saying there are no accidents, but like the majority of things you see in a movie are done on purpose because they're not real. It's not real life happening in front of you. It's somebody's making decisions to present a story a certain way. In real life, things just happen. Like, you know, you can't control everything, but in a movie you can control everything because you're fabricating it. You're building it up. Everything's fake, so you have to be responsible for placing all the pieces in the right spot.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of filmmakers forget that and kind of squander it. And like they're not conscious of all the things they should be conscious of.
Yeah, I feel like it just, like what you said earlier about how they're like, oh, a lot of movies open with narration. That's how I have to do it. And it seems like they'll read this script and go, okay, I read the script. We're just going to get, you know, these basic shots and then boom, we got a movie. It's like, but there has to be like depth within the pages. You know what I mean? And I feel like people lose that a lot. Like, and again, when you're saying like 90 something % of it is on purpose, like when you have like certain set design and a certain music playing, like everything is for a reason.
Yeah.
Like when you're like, oh, it was kind of cool how that happened. It's like they probably planned that for months.
Yes, they're invoking that emotion on purpose.
Yeah.
They want you to go, oh, that's a cool that they did that because they made it up.
Yeah.
Somebody made it up. Yeah, there was some like weird, goofy things with this movie. You notice that Shia LaBeouf gets arrested because somebody stole his car.
Yeah.
They arrest him and they bring him down to the police station. And that cop, I hated that cop character.
Oh,
that
God.
cop character was fucking weird and awful. And it didn't make any sense. Like they're like, oh, your car got stolen. All right, cuff him, bring him down to the police station. Wait, you don't get arrested for losing your car.
Yeah.
And then the cop character is like interrogating Shia LaBeouf for no reason. And then when Shia LaBeouf isn't like buying into it, he goes, are you making a move for my gun? It's like, what the fuck? What is happening?
Yeah, because the guy, like, you know, he's got his gun in his holster and Shia, like, eyed it real quick. And the guy was like, you going for this thing? It's like, dude, honestly, like, not to be so nitpicky, but they could have showed him just getting cuffed.
They didn't need any of that. It was a waste of like 7 minutes.
Or at least they could have just shown him and his dad walking out of the police station.
None of that. He didn't need to get arrested for his car being stolen. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why he was arrested.
And now, is it just me or didn't they, like, wasn't his car that, did they find his car?
No, because it's Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Well, so he chases Bumblebee to like some scrapyard, and that's where Bumblebee calls the other Autobots. But then he just transforms back into his car form and drives away. So it's like, what? And then Shia LaBeouf just randomly gets arrested.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, what the fuck? I also thought it was absolutely fucking hilarious as maybe a symptom of 2007, but when they were blaming North Korea for hacking into the government.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, North Korea doesn't even have any computers that turn on. What do you mean? Dude. There's like an analyst character, and she's like, this somebody hacked, the government in 3 seconds, and that should have taken like 4 billion years to crack the.
Yeah.
To like, I think they were going for like they kind of like they just broke through. There's like there's a type of hacking where you just overload the firewall to a point where it just stops working, and that lets you through. The government's like computers, like their network, has such a powerful firewall that it would take millions of years of a computer just like overloading it to actually do that. Which is, so then obviously the space robots can do it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But like they immediately blame North Korea. It's like, guys, they don't even have food. What do you mean?
Yeah.
They don't have the capability of hacking into the government. Okay?
I will say I wasn't crazy about that plot either with the analyst. She like went into she's friends with Anthony Anderson.
By the way, I forgot the drink your prune juice thing was from this movie.
Shut up, Grandma!
Drink your prune juice! It's been so long that's just become like a meme on the internet that I forgot it was actually from something. It's just always like existed to me.
Yeah.
Grandma, drink your prune juice!
Shut up, Grandma!
When they're playing your video games, shut up, Grandma!
But yeah, so yeah, a lot of the time they were like, it's got to be North Korea or China or something. It's like, no.
I also thought, did you think that the editing was kind of weird in this movie? Like the cuts were really bad.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, it caught me a couple times. There was
specifically there was a scene where, I mean, and obviously this isn't easy to do because I don't know how I would do it personally. I don't make giant CGI movies. That was creepy. But there's a scene where like some of the Transformers turn into planes and it cuts to real planes flying over, and it was just cut kind of poorly.
Yeah.
And it like looked weird, and it was only for a second, and I was just like, that was weird. That was weird. That was
not for me.
Yeah, it was the editing was just kind of weird, choppy. It was kind of like just messy.
Yeah, I mean, because it honestly, like, granted, it must be fucking hard to cut when you're adding all this CGI in post production. Because I mean, granted, you're filming a lot of shit that just isn't there.
Yeah.
So you gotta like really see that in your head because you're just in like an empty scrapyard. You're like, okay, there's 5 big robots here. And then we'll cut this. Like, that's got to be fucking tricky.
All right, pretend this tennis ball on a pole is a speaking man.
Yeah.
It was miles better than the shit Transformers we just saw, where the robots were running in from the side of the screen like a shitty cartoon.
Like, dude, every character, every Transformer in this had a great intro. I like how much I knew about Megatron before he was even awake.
We actually got to see Megatron. Megatron also, spoiler alert, completely rips one of the Autobots in half.
Yeah.
And it's like a complete throwaway thing. That's kind of what I was touching on last week with the other Transformers, and the fact that there were only like a couple of them. In this one, there's like, I think 8 Autobots. Yeah. And then there's all the Decepticons. It's pretty much an even fight. But it allows you to like kill characters. Like I didn't feel like last week that Transformers had the same weight, because like there's only 4 of them. I know none of them are gonna die, but in this one there's a lot of them, and there's like some of them I don't know. So I'm like, well, he might die. I don't know. I don't know how significant this character is to the Transformers lore. Like, I know Optimus isn't going to die. I know Bumblebee's not going to die. But then there's like 6 more Autobots. And I'm like, dude, anything goes. Like, those guys might fucking kick the bucket. And they do. Megatron scoops up a named speaking character and rips him in half.
Yeah.
And throws his corpse away like it was nothing.
Yeah, like, and that's like the daring shit that I love. Like, I knew that in the new Transformers, when they killed Bumblebee in the first 5 seconds, I'm like, there's no way he's fucking dead. I'm like, they're gonna bring him back.
Yeah, because that's also like the wrong character to kill.
Yeah, like, come on.
You're not killing. There was a Bumblebee movie before there was a Transformers movie. All right, he's not dying. Like, and come on.
I just kind of like, with the new one, it was a lot of, oh, we're doing this. But then I knew what direction it was going to go in when it was like, oh, we killed Bumblebee, and oh, this person's going to die. It's like, yeah, but I know you're going to bring them back because you're too much of a pussy to actually kill. But not that I was rooting for Bumblebee to fucking die, but I'm just like, I just knew it. I'm like, there's no way
in this movie
gonna kill this fucking guy.
I mean, in this movie, he gets his legs blown off.
Yeah, and then hooks himself up to a tow truck.
Megan Fox hooks him up to it, and then they're driving around, and he's shooting from the. But it's like
that's dope.
I knew he wasn't gonna die, but there was still part of me that was like, this is kind of suspenseful. Like, this is kind of, and it's like I think it would have been better. Like, I think Michael Bay knows that you can't outright kill Bumblebee, but you can definitely dangle him like a piece of meat.
Yeah.
And it's like that's a character people are guaranteed to care about because it's Bumblebee. That's like one of 2 Transformers everybody knows.
Yeah,
even if you've never seen the Transformers.
Everyone knows Prime and Bumblebee.
So to dangle him in front of us like a piece of meat like that is
bold move.
It worked a lot better than being like, I get you dead, and what are we gonna do?
And it was crazy because you learned so much about Megatron through like the stories and shit. and you're just like, oh god, you're like, I really hope this guy like doesn't get unfrozen, even though you knew he was gonna. And then you're like, oh fuck, like all that shit, and now he's fucking alive. And then he just rips that guy, that
and he's a
Transformer,
fucking
in half.
powerhouse.
Yeah, it's like insane.
Every time Megatron showed up, all the Autobots would turn and run. Like that's a good way to establish a character.
Yeah.
We've seen these Autobots fighting for like an hour at this point. Now some dude rocks up and they go, nope, not doing that, and take off. Like,
and as people, to see these guys running from that guy, that's got to be scary as shit.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the human characters in this because I thought, first of all, way better than the other Transformers. Just, I mean,
absolutely.
This is all right. I'm going to stop comparing it at this point because at this point...
It's just not even worth it.
Yeah, well, all right. This movie was 10 million times better than the other one. The other one felt like it was trying to be this movie, but it was like a cheap Chinese knockoff.
Yeah.
And it was like trying to hit the exact same plot points without any of the skill behind it. That's all I'm going to say about the other trans. I really liked all the human characters, and the human characters had like a stake in the fight. They weren't just there.
Yeah.
They figured out which of their weapons hurt the robots, and then they used those weapons.
Yeah.
And they like used what they had at their disposal to be a part of the fight
and try.
Yeah, and they were a huge part of it. Yeah. And even like Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, who aren't soldiers, they had a huge part in the fight.
Yeah.
Megan Fox saves Bumblebee. She hooks him up to a tow truck and drives him through the city.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf's hanging off a building with the fucking all spark.
Yeah,
and
he's physically running with it in his hands. Like,
yeah, and this is the last time I'll bring up the other Transformers movie.
Thank God.
I counted 3 reaction shots that whole movie, and it just kind of pulls you at it. It makes it seem like it's kind of like if you see like a student film, and it's like it takes place. Let's just say it takes place like at a party, but you can only round up like 3 extras, and it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm totally not buying this as a party now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what it was. It's like, oh, these big robots in the city and whatever. It's like there's no people around.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the city. There's no people. No one's like, what the fuck? No one's doing anything.
Yeah.
It's like you evacuated the city to film this fucking movie. It's like no one sees any of this. But again, now you have these robots who don't give a fuck about like, they're like knocking over buildings and shit.
They're fighting in the streets.
Yeah, they're fighting right in the street in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that's what this movie gave such a better sense of like battle.
Yeah.
Than the other one. It was mind blowing to me. Like this felt like they were in the middle of like World War II.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking real. Like it was, and it's it's funny that you say that because I have one of the funniest scenes in this movie to me was when I think Optimus like knocks Megatron over. And Megatron it's when he falls off the building. He lands on like a group of people. And he's getting up and there's a guy like, oh shit. And he goes, worthless vermin. And just bitch slaps a dude across the street. I was like, no fucking way. That was awesome.
But that's
you
awesome.
Vile vermin. And he literally backhands a dude. And you see the guy go, right across the street and like slap off a bus. I was like, that was awesome.
But here's the thing. Just that scene alone, even with no context, shows you so much about that character and what he's capable of.
Yeah.
I love it.
And you couldn't do it without the human characters running around.
Exactly.
Like, I will say it was kind of stupid that the military was like, we have to take the Allspark to the city. It's like, I don't think the military would go, hey, let's go to the most populated area with the objective and while we're fighting giant space robots. Yeah. But it did make for a more entertaining movie.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's entertainment.
I mean, I guess it would help with the buildings around. It's better than being out in like an open field.
You mean like the new one?
You mean like where they stand in a giant crater?
They were in a Peruvian cornfield or whatever.
In the middle of a crater.
Yeah, and then for some reason lava just appeared. God, fuck that movie. But yeah, I don't really have any notes.
I actually took a shitload. But we're getting pretty high up on time right now.
Because again, this was like, fun little compare and contrast.
Yeah, let me look for some good ones. I know we have some stuff we have to cut out of this, but
That's true.
I thought the most unrealistic part of this movie was high school Shia LaBeouf not getting a boner with Megan Fox in his lap.
Yeah, he was like, "Why don't you sit on my lap?" And she was like, "Nice."
Yeah, that was the most unrealistic thing in this
Yeah,
movie.
and she,
And
like,
there's
sits
90-foot tall robots in
She
it.
sits on his lap and she like kind of like cuddles him. And he's also not wearing pants because one of the the JVC radio like ripped his pants off trying to like kill him. So he's in his boxers in a car that drives itself, which Bumblebee turned himself into like a sick new Camaro.
Yep.
So he's in like a brand new
Because Megan Fox insulted him.
Yeah. So he's
She's like, I don't get it. What if he can turn into any car he wants? Why is he still driving around in this shit box? And it stops and kicks them out of the car, like out of the street, and drives away. Shia LaBeouf's like, "Oh, you offended him."
Yeah, you're like, now you fucking pissed him off.
Look what you did. You offended him.
And that's what I love about Shia LaBeouf in this. He's just on crack the whole time. He's like, "Oh, see what you did?" He's like in his boxers in a tunnel.
You know why I like? I think he reminds me of how we would act in this situation.
Yeah.
I think that's why we like
Like, you
him so
fucking
much.
idiot.
Are you fucking Jesus Christ? Look what you did, you fucking idiot.
But yeah. So what I was saying was he's in his boxers in an awesome Camaro that drives itself. Megan Fox is in there. She sits on his lap and like coddles
You're
him.
looking right at the camera while you say
And
it.
it's like
she
this-
sits on his lap.
And this guy is this guy's not
Yeah.
getting an erection.
Oh no, he isn't.
I refuse to believe that.
Who the fuck do you think you are, Shia LaBeouf?
Exactly.
I can see up your nose.
Pretty gross from that angle.
You look gross from every angle.
No, you don't mean that.
The hell you say?
Yeah, the hell you say? And now, man, we have fun. Welcome back to the podcast with Avatar and Lemon Shirt. That's what we're doing.
For what?
What?
For what?
What did you say? To what?
To what? To Utes, Your Honor. To
Utes.
Utes. That's the movie we should have done.
Oh, yeah.
Next week.
Next week. Well, I want to do Asteroid City next week.
I don't want to. I
really
hate
wanna-
Wes Anderson.
I really want to review a Wes Anderson
I
movie.
don't, because then I have to see a Wes Anderson movie.
I heard it was really good, though.
Everyone says that about every Wes Anderson movie, and then they always suck.
Come on, Wes.
Let me bang through a couple more of these notes because we're coming up.
Yeah, I mean, from what we have to cut out, we're probably at an even hour now. So
I really liked how the army was never. This is weird because it can go either way. Either way, I think it's bad to do this. But the army was very competent, and they were very they always took it seriously. There was never a scene where they're like, whatever. Because obviously it opens up with a military base getting fucking blown off the map.
yeah,
But I feel like a lot of the time when people put the military or the government into a movie, the government just seems to not give a shit about anything.
yeah,
But in this, it's the government is they're on the fucking ball,
Yeah,
dude. They're right from the get go. They're like, this is serious.
Yeah,
We can take this serious.
I thought John Voight did a great job.
Yeah,
as
he's
the
the
senator.
Secretary of Defense, right?
Yeah, and he was just kind of like they had a hefty part in this. He was like, "We need to do this. Fuck this, whatever." Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
that's
blah.
what I want to say too.
They were very active.
With his character especially, there were zero passive characters in this. Every single character not only has something to do, but plays a vital role. And his character, there's a scene where he's with the analyst characters and the little robots come to kill them. And there's no soldiers or anything around. It's just him and Jesus. And he literally busts open a gun case and pulls out a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun and just starts fucking laying into them. And I'm like, and he's he's an older guy.
Yeah,
he's
John Voight.
Even back then he was older. Is he
Yeah.
still alive?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so he was pretty old back then, and he's got a fucking pump-action shotgun. He's fucking shooting at them through the door. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You
I
got
like how
someone-
they didn't try to make him funny either.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was taking the shit really seriously.
Yeah, they
And
always
then
kind of
as the stakes ramped up, it only got more serious for him.
yeah.
And to a point where he's physically taking up arms to fight with them. And then the other thing is about that scene that I really like is all the characters have obviously. This is a stupid sentence, and I hate saying this sentence, but sometimes you'll know what I mean. the characters actually had characteristics that they adhered to.
Yeah, I know what you
Like
mean.
the nerd character never picked up a gun and started shooting people because he's a nerd and he's great, but he's great at computers. So he's on the computer. The guys that are good with guns are on the guns.
Everyone knows their role.
Yeah, and there's no point does he pick up a gun and he's like, eh. It's like, no, he cowers up into a ball and hides under a desk.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's what he should be doing. Like, not every character deserves
Has to be the hero.
not every character deserves the gun moment. All right, the guys with the guns deserve the gun moment.
Because then
then
it takes away that effect.
Yeah, so it's like,
oh, now everyone's just playing with guns. Now everyone's just doing this shit.
So like each character brings something to the table, but that also comes with like a negative side. I'm really good with computers. I don't know how to use a gun. All right, so they do the computer stuff, and I assume the gun guys don't know anything about computers. They're just like, what are these fucking robots? All right, chick click, bam. Like, does it bleed when I shoot it?
Pete Davidson comes in. Nah, man, that's just engine oil.
It's engine oil.
That's the last time I'm bringing up.
There was no engine oil in this movie.
Yeah.
This is another. I have so many good notes about this movie, and we wasted so much time being dicks.
Well, we can always cut out some of the beginning.
I know this might. I'm gonna try and bang through these as fast as I can. Last week I talked about how it was weird that when the robots punched each other, they would like get knocked out.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why like they were even punching each other. This movie did it so much better. Every time a robot punched another robot, dude, fucking pieces of it would go flying.
Yeah.
Like you would punch a robot and his jaw would fly off, or like screws and shit would fly over the place. And it's like, that makes sense. All right. It's like a car crash, like the metal slamming into each other, and then it's breaking. It's like in the other movie, they'd punch each other and be like, oh,
yeah, and they would like fall down and be like, ugh.
It's like, but you're a machine. That shouldn't hurt you. It makes more sense that they're getting punched and pieces are flying off.
Yeah, because you're trying to break them. Like, and in this one, I noticed a lot of it was like grappling, because they were literally just trying to rip them the fuck apart. And the only time I went to see like a punch scene, like Optimus was behind a wall and he's like this, and I'm like, oh, here he comes, the big punch. But his fucking
his blade comes
out and he just shanks the guy and kills him immediately. I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah, right. Like,
yes.
It didn't make any sense for the robots to punch each other unless they had to. And that's I know they had a different way of fighting. I know the military, knowing Michael Bay, it probably took inspiration from that. The military, the way they train their soldiers to like fight isn't to like kill people with their bare hands. It's like to get the person away from you and like to get back to your gun. Like, and that's kind of how the Transformers fight. Like, the only time they're ever using their hands is like when they're trying to like outmaneuver another Transformer to get back to their gun to shoot them.
Yeah.
Like, or like Megatron will like tackle a guy and fly him through a building.
Yeah, and it's like, but do you see what you're saying right now is exactly what we're talking about, where you're like, hey, I noticed this in this movie, which was cool. Yeah, because they did that on purpose. It on purpose. They want you to talk to me about that.
There's thought behind it.
Yes.
There's like, okay, why would a robot punch another robot? Unless he absolutely had to, or to destroy him, or Megatron rips one of them in half because he's like 10 feet taller than the other robot. I thought it was way fucking better. Bumblebee gets his legs blown off in an explosion.
Yeah.
It's like, it all makes sense. Like, and you know what it does too, is it makes the robots seem destructible. Like, there's more, the stakes are higher.
Yeah. There was, the stakes were higher. There were consequences. You know, in this new one, there just weren't any, you know, it just, there seemed like there was, like, I know what was on the line in the new one, but it just seemed like there was nothing on the line.
Yeah.
Because again, you didn't know anything about the bad guy in the new one. It was, he devours planets. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's pretty fucked. But that's all you know. And then it just leaves it alone for so long. But with this one,
and I know that's like a Transformers character.
Yeah.
I hate when people critique our critiques and they're like, well, if you read comic number
I'm not going to do that.
472, you would know that that's a side character from a Deadpool. And it's like,
yeah, I'm not going to do that.
When I see a movie, I expect all the information I need to know to be within that movie. If I can't see a movie as a complete outsider, then it's failed as a movie.
Yeah.
Because that's who's seeing your movies. You know, you're not just making Transformers movies for Transformers fans.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it just seemed like, you know, like you didn't even really know about Megatron until halfway into this movie. And it's like, oh, what the fuck? And then you learn everything, and then he fucking comes to life and starts fucking shit up.
Yeah, and that's for the
like,
better, because he's so powerful, it would be ridiculous to see him from the get-go.
Yeah. Especially the movie was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So to see him like 15 minutes in.
Well, that was what we were, and we were complaining about that last week too with the other guy. You said you liked that the other guy was invincible and so powerful, but he's there from the first second.
Yeah, like that.
And then it introduces all these moments where you're like, well, why didn't he just kill him?
Yeah.
Why didn't he kill Optimus? Right there, he had Optimus. He could have killed him right there.
He was there too much. I did like that trait though, that when he was on screen against them, you're like, you kind of had like that kind of Thanos vibe of this isn't going to go well.
Yeah, but I think they did it a lot better with Megatron in this. Because,
absolutely.
Because he runs through the Autobots like no problem.
Yeah.
The only person who really can stand up to him is Optimus. And even he kind of gives Optimus a run for his money too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think since he was on screen for less than the other guy, it never introduced. There was never a moment where that could have happened.
Yeah.
Where Megatron, because listen, I don't know too much about Transformers. I do know Megatron is not the type to monologue and walk away, all right?
Yeah.
No, Megatron is not the type of guy, not the type of Autobot or whatever, the cyber, what are they called? Cyber citizens? He's not the type of dude that it wouldn't kill Optimus the first chance he gets. And it's like, so they never even, Michael Bay knows to not even give him the opportunity.
Exactly.
Because
when you have, I mean, we spoke about that with Guardians, how when Rocket had that chance to just kill that guy who killed all of his friends, he didn't take that opportunity. He had a gun to the guy's head and then just like dropped the gun and was like,
Yeah.
I get he was upset about his friends dying and he needed to leave, but like, that guy's behind all this. Like, you gave him the opportunity to kill him, and you didn't take that opportunity. And now I'm asking the question, why didn't you just fucking do that? You know? God, I'm fucking angry now. But yeah.
There was I think, two more moments I really liked. There was a moment where Sam is face to face with Megatron and he's like hiding behind a pillar.
Yeah.
That scene was so fucking funny to me because as Sam is hiding, he cuts to Optimus really quick and Optimus is like, Sam, hold on. And a fucking helicopter is falling out of the sky and Optimus doesn't do shit about it. I thought it was Optimus could have saved those men and he didn't.
Yeah.
That was so funny. And then there's another scene in the middle of the fight where Optimus trips Megatron. I thought it was really funny. He kind of like sticks his foot out.
Yeah.
I was like, what a juvenile way of fighting that guy. He's like, nope.
But they were juvenile in this quite a lot. Like the way that they interacted, the way they spoke, like when they're all in Sam's backyard and he's like, you guys have to be quiet. And there's 6 Autobots in his backyard on his back lawn that his dad is obsessed with. And like, just stay as your car forms and relax. And then Prime's fat fucking head just comes into the window like, did you find the glasses? And he's like, get the fuck out of here.
I love how he's like, stay in your car forms. And they go, okay. And then he like goes to look for it and he looks back out the window and they're all in their car forms, but they're still sitting on the lawn. He's like, not like that. He's like, get off the fucking lawn.
The best was like one of them, I forget who it was, but one of them like slowly gets into car form, and it's just funny seeing him go down on his knees and kind of like tuck and turn like slowly, and like the hood just goes, meow. And he's like, okay, I'm a car now. It's like, and Prime's like up against the back of the house, like, because the parents start like looking out the window. He's like,
he's a 30-foot tall robot.
Yeah, like they cared about not being seen by his parents. It was funny. Because in reality, they don't have to give a fuck.
No. They only gave a fuck because Sam gave a fuck. And they were like, well, we like Sam. So
yeah, and he's the guy who's helping us. Yeah, we'll respect him.
I also like how Sam had like a deeper connection to the Autobots than Noah did.
Yeah.
Noah just kind of buys the car or steals a car, and then they're just like, come.
Yeah. And Pete Davidson as Mirage was really just like, yeah, man, because you're pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really have a reason to invite Noah along, and that kind of like took me out of it.
And that's what's great about this movie is they directly involved Sam. There was no reason for him not to be there. They're like, hey, we need your help to leave because this is connected to your bloodline.
Yeah, his grandfather, his glasses have the coordinates for the Allspark like burned into them.
Yeah.
And Sam has the glasses, so it's logical for the Autobots to be like, we need you, Sam.
Like in the new one where they're like, oh, the other half of that rock is in Peru. They could have just fucking left.
Yeah, why bring Noah and the girl?
Yeah, and they brought the girl and the girl found it, but it's like...
And then it just so happens that they're too big for the tunnels.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, but you didn't know that before, so why bring the humans before you knew that?
I mean, that led to my biggest note in the new Transformers, which was just how convenient.
Yeah, it was super. This movie never felt that because, and I think it goes back to my previous point where each character has their strengths, and the movie never forgets what those are. And each character, like, you know, Shia LaBeouf isn't a soldier. He's not fighting the robots. He never puts on a fucking suit made out of fucking Transformer skin. Yeah. And starts beating up Megatron. He's made of meat and flesh, and he can't shoot a gun. So what does he do? He picks up the fucking Allspark like a football, and he takes off running. Like, there you go.
And I will say too, I mean, you have a great director for this genre. You also had Spielberg on as a producer, which certainly helps. Yeah. And I think that like with Spielberg on, I think that's where you kind of get that good feeling of character, because I mean, if you watch any Spielberg movie, he always makes it very like, he's always so like honed in on his characters. And I think that, I mean, I know he didn't write the fucking thing or really direct it, like,
no, but you know,
but I mean, I think
even when it comes down to, we complain about Disney all the time and their inability to pick good directors. That's what a producer does. Spielberg is a great director, so he can recognize when other directors and what they're good at. Part of being a good director is recognizing other people's skills and utilizing them. So I imagine Steven Spielberg said, we got a big fucking robot movie. Who makes big crazy movies?
Wes
Michael
Anderson.
Bay. Get what? Get Michael Bay in here to film this shit. He knows exactly how this shit is supposed to go. And you know what? I'm sorry, Michael Bay. I'm sorry. I never gave you enough credit. I always knew you was the goofy explosion guy.
Yeah,
you can
knock it out of the park.
You can make an action movie.
Yeah.
That I
compared to the new Transformers, I'd give this a fucking 12 out of 10. Just as is. I'd honestly, I know it's like a robot movie and whatever.
It was good.
I'd give it like a 7.5.
It was a good movie. It wasn't.
And I'd give it that rating because it knew what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was fun. Like, I hate when people go to movies and like, that was fun.
That was a fun little movie.
I legit had a great time. I didn't even talk about my favorite line of the whole movie. My favorite moment in the entire movie. And it made me laugh so fucking hard, I paused the movie and called you. I was like keeled over laughing because I thought it was so funny. The Autobots show up. They meet Shia LaBeouf in a dank alleyway. Optimus Prime like unfolds. Is that what you call it? I don't know what you would call it.
Transforms.
Sure, that sounds weird. He unfolds from truck form, which, by the way, he looks way better as a Peterbilt. That's the truck nerd in me. Add me on Steam. We'll play American Truck Simulator together. But he unfolds. All right. He gives this big goofy monologue. It's really dramatic. Then he sticks his arm out and he goes, "These are the Autobots." And it cuts to one of them and he's break dancing and he just goes, "What's up, you little bitches?" Oh my god! Mwah!
He like pops a squat on a car. He's like, "This looks comfy." Ugh.
Dude, that made me laugh so hard.
I think that's the one that died.
Yeah, it was Jazz is his name.
Which is a great thing because his opening line makes you fucking laugh, and right off the bat, you're like, I fucking like that guy.
Yeah.
And then you think like, oh, I don't want anything to happen to that guy because I like that guy. And then Megatron rips him in half, and then you're like, fuck, I really liked that guy. And that's genius.
You know what what kills me right now is that we're not going to do the other Transformers movies because there's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
But it's not until like the 5th one that John Goodman shows up as a Transformer. Dude, his Transformer makes me laugh so hard. I love him. He's a big fat guy. He looks like a dwarf from like Lord of the Rings. He has a metal beard. He's big and fat, and he has a minigun. And he just runs around being a dickhead.
I love John Goodman.
Dude, and it's John Goodman's voice. It's like picturing fucking Walter from
Over the Line.
Yeah, they put a little robot reverb on it, but he's like, oh, there's a part where he's like spinning around and like beating the shit out of all these Decepticons, and he goes, I'm like a fat ballerina, and he's like punching the shit out of them, and he's like, oh man, dude, like Megatron shows up. And, we just spent all this time talking about what a badass Megatron is. Dude, Megatron shows up. He calls him a little bitch and just starts shooting at Megatron. He's like, you little bitch. Bah, 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 bah. And it's like, dude, that's Megatron.
Yeah, you don't do that. How did Megatron die? Oh, yeah, Shia LaBeouf put the fucking cube in his chest.
Yeah, I
wasn't crazy about that.
I didn't understand that. I also didn't like that Optimus was like, yeah, you should do that to me.
Yeah, he was so and I get like that's part of Optimus's character of always trying to make the sacrifice for the greater good, whatever. But like, I thought his first instinct should have been to do that to Megatron.
I thought it would be like more like Avengers, where the Rock's powered up Iron Man, but killed him in the process. I thought it was gonna like give him like a super boost, and he was gonna go ham, but it would be too much to handle. But no, the fucking Allspark just killed Megatron and like melted into his head.
Yeah, and it was like,
and then they just drop his body into the ocean like Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, they started just
like, all right, buddy, you're fucking whale food now, bitch. Tossed him in the water.
Yeah, like that.
Like, dude, he's a giant
like
sentient
that fucking
robot.
Tin can Titanic ship.
Oh yeah, fuck that shit.
That's sad.
Is it?
Did you hear about the kid who went to the Blink concert?
I wouldn't give a shit if I was that guy either. Maybe I wouldn't be on Twitter. But
he was like, my grandfather would really want me to go to this Blink 182 concert.
My stepdad's a fucking billionaire, and I got $100 to my name.
Well, not anymore.
Oh well. The only person I feel bad for is the 15-year-old
who really didn't want to go.
Who was like, I don't even want to fucking do this.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
terrified.
terrified.
You should have been more convincing, my friend.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story. People, if you don't want to do something, learn the power of no.
Yeah.
Don't fucking wish, don't bend over backwards to make people happy. Because you'll end up on the bottom of the fucking ocean, corpse.
With the Decepticons.
Stuck in, with half your body stuck in Megatron's teeth, and the other half is fucking at the bottom of the Titanic.
That's probably
floating next to fucking what's his face is Leonardo DiCaprio's fucking.
Dude, what an awful way to go out. You're bolted into a tin can on top of the Titanic, stuck there for days.
Oh well, did you hear what happened?
Yeah,
it imploded.
Yeah, but like you're probably gonna die.
No, it imploded. It was instant.
Yeah, but well, I'm just saying, they were stuck though.
No, it just exploded. It was instant. That's the only saving grace of the story. Is it just?
Oh, but I mean, but was there like a period though where they were like,
no, so
we're stuck?
So they lost contact an hour after they went down.
Okay.
So it takes about an hour to get down there. As soon as they were down there, most likely they just imploded.
Wow.
So it just crunched. And at that depth, it's instant. There's no like.
Oh, well, yeah, I heard that it was like literally milliseconds.
Yeah, well, so, the Mariana Trench? Deepest part of the ocean?
Yeah.
James Cameron goes down there all the time for some reason. The first submarine that ever went down there like halfway down their the windshield cracked, and they just kept going. They're like, because and their rationale was that if the hull had been like what's the word? If like it broke, it would have been instant. Like if the reasoning was that if we have time to think about it, then the submarine's fine, because it's literally a microsecond it takes to just crush. And yeah, so the window cracked and they like sat for like 10 seconds. Like, all right, well, it's not going to break because we'd already be dead. So let's just keep going.
What a guy.
They also didn't bring. Well, so that wasn't James Cameron. James Cameron was the first man to go down there with a camera.
Yeah.
That first expedition was in like the 60s and they forgot to bring cameras. They're at the bottom of the ocean. They're like, all right. Did you bring? Oh, son of a bitch. They also hit the bottom of the ocean and kicked up all the sand down there and couldn't see anything.
Awesome. Well, anyway, I figure we close out now.
Yep. You gave this a 7.5.
Yeah.
I give it a yum.
Yep.
This was a yummy movie.
It was yum.
I had fun. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it doesn't have to be.
I'm Charlie.
I am Shia LaBeouf.
And this was an episode of the Degenerate Movie Reviews.
Oh, I said it.